Hey guys, JC here. Just wanted to give you a quick update on this guy right here. That's right, the Nextbit Robin. So I have to apologize. I was hoping to do like a 24-hour, maybe a 48-hour update, but it's actually turning more into like a 3 or 4 day update. And I apologize for that. It's just been crazy busy for me the past couple of days. But I really wanted to get this done because I wanted to touch base with you guys. You guys were asking about a couple of things that I want to touch on. But just give you a quick update. So far, still absolutely loving the hardware. The look and the feel has held up really good. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm already getting used to the corners. I was a little worried. I thought they were going to be an issue. I thought they were going to hurt my hand, but they're really not. Still loving that. Not too big in a pocket. Feels great in a pocket. So not to worry about that there. First kind of thing I want to touch on is the power button right here, and the fingerprint sensor is recessed a little bit into the casing. Maybe half a millimeter, maybe a full millimeter. I don't really know. But it is recessed just a little bit. And it's just enough to really sometimes make it a little difficult to find the power button. Not a deal breaker. Not saying I'm not going to recommend the phone because of that reason. Just keep that in mind that sometimes you got to try 2 or 3 times to get your fingerprint to read. As far as accuracy on the fingerprint scanner, words are hard, guys. Words are hard. Fingerprint scanner, I'm getting probably about 85% accuracy, which is pretty good, right? Which is definitely usable, definitely workable. So, but just keep that in mind that sometimes it can be a little bit hard to find. More of an annoyance than anything else. Something else too, just more of a question as opposed to anything else. But so over here, the power button is the same color as this electric blue. Over here, the volume buttons are black. I have no idea why. Just more of a curiosity than anything. But it doesn't really matter to you guys because you can't even get this color anyway because you're not special. I'm just kidding. You totally are. But this was exclusive to Kickstarter backers. So unless you were a Kickstarter backer like me, you can only get mint, which is the kind of basic color. It's a white with a mint green accents. It looks beautiful, by the way. Or you can just get black on black on black on black on black, which is boring. So no judgment, but if you get that phone, you're boring. Just kidding. But anyway, more of a question. The other thing I want to touch on is the USB-C charging port right here. It's a little difficult to get the cable in and out. Not a huge deal, not a deal breaker, but just something to keep in mind. So if you notice it's a little hard and you're having to force it in there, that's okay because that's the way it's made. That's a hardware thing that we can't really do anything about. Hopefully it'll loosen up over time. You never know. But the quick charging works great. Works like it should, right? So that's a good thing. Another thing I want to touch on, the adaptive display, or excuse me, the adaptive brightness. Sorry, I can't even think of things right now. My brain doesn't work. But the adaptive brightness is a little aggressive. And all I mean by that is sometimes it doesn't really know which direction to go. Sometimes it'll dim when it shouldn't just by just holding my face in front of the sensor. It'll dim it. Sometimes when you're walking from fluorescent light or inside light to sunlight, it takes a few seconds to adjust. So it just needs to be tweaked a little bit. It's a little aggressive. So they haven't quite found that perfect sweet spot yet. But hopefully that's something they can fix in an update. So Nextbit, get on that. Love you guys. Appreciate it. 2 other things, though, that are a little bit more of an annoyance, a little bit more of a frustration. The first one is the front-facing speakers. Okay, they get plenty loud, which is good. If you're watching a movie or listening to music, playing a game, you can turn it up, and it gets pretty loud. However, once it gets about 65% volume, they start to sound a little blown out. They start to get pretty tinny, sound like they reached their peak already, which at 65% is kind of lame, which means that if you don't want to hear that sound or you don't want it to sound like that, you want the full sound quality, you have to keep it below 65%, which is kind of lame. Hoping that that's a software issue and not an issue with the speakers themselves, but we don't really know until Nextbit either updates the software or they give us a new phone. So just something to keep in mind. Again, definitely not a deal breaker, just hey, keep that in mind. Hey guys, sorry about that. Let's keep going. So last thing I wanted to touch on is the camera. This guy right here. It's 13 megapixels. Words are hard. It's a 13 megapixel camera, which is about typical for 2016. Some you see a little more, some you see a little less. So 13 megapixels is good enough for what we need it for, right? The biggest annoyance probably is that it takes quite a while to take a picture. And by quite a while, I mean 1 or 2 seconds. If you put HDR mode on, it takes probably a good 4 to 5 seconds. But the pictures you're going to get, they're not. You're not going to sell them to an art gallery. You're not going to be the next Picasso or whatever. But they're more than adequate for Facebook, for social media, for texting to friends, for all that kind of good stuff, right? So for what we're going to be using it for, it's probably going to be more than adequate. But just something to keep in mind. Again, I'm not going to not recommend this one for the camera. I'm not going to tell you don't get it because of that. I'm just going to say, hey, keep that in mind when you're purchasing, again, for $399, that that's the camera's like that. Again, that is definitely a software issue that Nextbit can definitely fix, so hopefully they'll get on that with the next one. As far as video recording, it records 4K, 1080p and lower. I don't know why you'd want to go any lower, but hi, more power to you. But anyway, it records 4K, 1080p. 4K is great, but honestly, you're probably not going to use it very much unless you have a 4K screen. I don't even have a 4K monitor, so probably not that useful. But 1080p is great. It's hard to even tell a difference when you're not looking at it on a 4K screen, but it records just fine. So again, keep that in mind. Now, I've talked enough about hardware, talked enough about the stuff outside the phone. Let's talk about the insides. Let's go over the software, kind of give you a quick rundown of the UI, the user interface, how it looks, the smoothness, how it feels, how it works, because there are a few differences than your stock Android, than what you might be used to on an Android phone, especially on iOS. But you're also going to find that there's some things that are kind of similar to iOS on an iPhone. And we're going to take a look at both of those, and we're going to see not get super in-depth, but we're going to take a look and see, hey, this is how it works, this is what it's going to look like for you, this is what it's going to look like in real life. All right, let's take a look.